All right, Caleb. So let's start right at the beginning. Where were you, let's say 4 or 5 weeks ago? What were you at? What were you hitting in terms of months?
I was seven, just or at or around 20K, probably just under 20K.
Okay. And what was your situation? What were you doing? Were you just closing? Were you, man,
Yes,
what did that look like?
just closing. Um, yeah, I was just closing. That's all I was doing.
Okay. And with that, how many calls were you sort of taking a day at that 20K per month mark, do you reckon?
Oh, a lot. Yeah. My calendar was like I was available for like 10 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then on Saturdays I was taking probably 6 to 8 calls.
Okay. And obviously during that time, so let's say like 4 or 6 weeks ago, what were sort of the main struggles or challenges that you were facing at that time?
I didn't have a life. Um, it was a lot of time being taken up. But in terms of, yeah, I just feel like I could, I guess there was a couple of things I was dealing with. I feel like I could leverage my time better, but I also, still had, like, I think I've still got lots to learn. There's always more to learn. Um, so wanted to like increase my skill set, but also leverage my time more because I didn't want to be working, getting into sales. I was kind of sold the dream of like, yeah, it's going to be like living on like working from a beach and making 50K months, and it's not that. It's like it's hard work, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, because a lot of people, right, they get in this space and they expect to make a shit ton of money, right, and expect it to be all hunky dory. But when you were
Yeah.
making 20K a month and you had no life, as you put it, right, what was going
Yeah.
on in your head at that point?
Um, that there was just there's still so much room to grow. Like I used to like when I got into sales, it was like, oh yeah, like I can't wait to my 10K month, and then I can't wait for my 20K month, and then I got to like a point where I was making good money and money wasn't an issue for me, and I was like, dude, I just want my time back. And it was like I'd become the prospect that I was selling to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously feeling like that, how did that feel for you with where you were at that point?
Um, yeah, it sucked. Like I like had some yeah, like a lot going on in my personal life, like I'm getting married and all this sort of stuff. And so n not being able to be present in all of that sucked.
Yeah. And at that time, did you feel like you could do more? Like obviously you were working like a dog, right? You were grinding, but like was there something missing or why do you feel like that was the way it was?
Yeah, I mean, there's always got to be. I was underskilled. Like I'm good at closing. I'm confident in myself to say that now. But there was like other skill sets that I didn't realize was so necessary to like continue to level up. It's not just like you need to be good at the one skill set and that gets you to your goal. Like there's always more to learn.
Yeah, 100%. And when you were at that point of feeling like you could still level up, right? But you were making what most people would say is their goal of getting in a closing, right? Like a lot of people view that 20K as like, wow, I've made it, I'm the man. Like when you
Yeah.
were at that situation, how is it sort of affecting you, like motivation wise, business wise, and I guess even life wise? I know you touched on it briefly.
In terms of like what do you mean when you say that? Like how is it affecting me in terms of like how did I feel?
That and also just like motivation wise or like looking at the future, like what kind of an impact was that having on you?
Yeah, it was not a good one. Like which is so it feels so silly for me to say because I like remember like working so hard to get to that point. But then I like got to that point and I was like, this isn't like I haven't worked this hard for this long to like just get to like 20K months and be working this many hours to get here. Like I want more than that. Um, and yeah, I remember it just being like being in that position was definitely I don't know if demotivating is the word because there was definitely like a level of motivation behind me wanting more, but it was pretty like, okay, it's not time to take my foot off like the pedal now, which it was definitely I easily could have done and just like cruised at the 20K. But I wanted more than that. So it was like there was part of me that was like a bit disappointed and like struggling, but there was also part of me that was like, okay, like there's more to this, like I've got to push more.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
almost sounds like what happened was like the way I describe it is if you were to climb a mountain, you get to the top of the mountain and you realize that the view's blocked by a big building or something.
yeah,
And it was like, yeah, you've climbed the mountain, but it's not what you expected. And
yeah.
that's something that we see a lot of times. But when it came to obviously getting from that point to where you want to be, what was your goal? Like, where did you actually want to be, and what was the goal for you?
Um, where I wanted to be was have my time more leveraged. Um, and so when I say that, I mean less time, more money, which is like obviously the goal for most people. But it was finding the right angle to like approach that, and then providing enough value to a business to where that's actually a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
let's try and visualize that for the people watching this. Like, if you were to paint that picture, what would that success have looked like, and what were you trying to achieve by doing that?
Um, so that success for me was like stepping into like a management role, where I could help people, um, help the team, help them make more money, and in doing so, like rev share, taking some of that for myself, which means less time on calls. I still have been taking calls, but definitely not as many. And how I got there was just by like leveraging relationships and proving to the people that I work with, like offer owner, all that sort of stuff, that I have the skills and the capacity to like make them more money.
Yeah. And like obviously that's something we'll come to later on, but even during that journey, right, we came across obstacles of the way that makes
Oh,
you
mate.
feel and the way that affects you. And it wasn't
Yeah.
as easy as we would have imagined. But for you, because
No.
that's a big step, right? And it takes a lot. What actually drove you to go after that goal? Like what made you decide I need to make this happen, become a manager and push on for those huge months?
Um, it's a good question.
Thanks. I should do this for a living.
Um, it was, I think for me, the desire of like, um, yeah, it's going to sound cliche. It's what everyone says in every sales call, but it's like that financial freedom, but still having time. And for me, I had my path. Like I was like going to make it work in sales no matter what. Like, I mean, not, I say that I hadn't made it work up until that point. It's what I would say to a prospect. Um, but it was like I decided on my path. I just needed to figure out how to take that next step. But yeah, like you said, there is so many obstacles along the way that you don't foresee happening. Yeah.
And just to kind of relate back to the people who are probably watching this, for you, what was sort of the why behind all of this, right? Because you worked fucking hard, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's this common misconception in our industry that people are just lucky or, they get on the right offer. But like, we've known over the past 4 or 5 weeks of working together, you work fucking hard, man, right? And what is behind that desire? Like, why do you want it so badly?
Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess for me it was like being super transparent. It's definitely around like um yeah, wanting to be present for my family. It's always what it's going to come down to for me. Um, Parents weren't present growing up, all these different reasons for me as to why that's important to me. Um, but yeah, I just like look at the example I've had set for me, and I'm just like, I'm gonna. I think it's deal with an issue before it arises. So rather than like getting to a point where I'm married and I have kids and I look at it and I'm like, man, I'm not like spending as much time with them as I want to. It's like I want to get to a point before that even happens where I'm like, I'm leveraged enough, I've got enough skills, I'm making enough money to where like I can spend as much time as I want with my family, with the people that I love and that I care about, and they're all looked after before I'm in the middle of it and be like, man, because I like have had so many calls with prospects who like are in the middle of the shit. They've like
Yeah.
been in the same position for 10 years and they want to make a change. And I'm just like, that's not like I hate that. Like it breaks my heart because it's breaking their heart. Like they like hate it. I'm like, and I can't like be trying to help these people get out of that position and then still be willing to put myself in the same position if I don't make a change now. And so
100%.
that's what it was for me. Yeah.
And for the guys watching at home, to try and give them some value, how did you actually go about doing that? Because obviously now you're in the position where you're making much more money. I mean, you're approaching 50K this month, right? And you
Yeah.
also have some of your time back too by being able to take that step back from closing. How did you actually go about doing that?
Um, so like how did I like take the step into management? Is that what you're asking?
So what steps did you take to position yourself to get into management and then also get into
Okay.
management and start earning
Okay.
money as well?
I worked my ass off. I was top closer 4 months running, made this business, yeah, nearly like $1 million in like 3, 4, 5 months. Um, and so was put in a position, and then the team started scaling, and I was just like, they were talking about hiring a sales manager, and I'm just like, there's no one that would know the product or how this process works better than me. I'm just like, just let me run it. And then I ran it um, almost as just to prove that I was willing to do whatever it took. Like, stepped into that position for significantly less than what I should have done in the beginning.
Hmm.
Proved to them that I had the skill set and the value, and I was providing enough value to do it. Did that for about 2 weeks, and then got brought into it as like stepped into the position properly. I'm taking a rev share now. But yeah, it all comes from like just committing to it fully. Like it was just like I couldn't have got there from just being like, oh yeah, I'm going to take like 4 or 5 calls a day and just kind of enjoy my life. Like it's going to take a sacrifice to get. It took a huge sacrifice for me to get to this level.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, your last month before going into management, that was your record month in just closing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In that month, for guys watching who are still just closing, what were the main things you changed in your approach or process that month compared to the previous months that you've had?
Um, I so big on pre-handling.
Hmm.
Pre-handling is the most important part of a call. If all your training is objection handling, you're setting yourself up to fail. It's like yeah, if all you train is the part of the call where you're getting objections, then you're going to get objections. But if for me, it's like it's the discovery is always going to be the most important part. Like your goal of a call is to build enough value and enough certainty and enough belief in that person within themselves for them to get to the end of the call and be like, cool, I just need to make this work logistically for like with the money. I've got enough belief in the program, got enough belief in myself. And so not having, I had in my last month, I didn't have heaps of objections. You still get some of them for sure, because there's always going to be people that give you
No,
objections.
so you're always gonna get them.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely around like discovery and then huge on pre-handling. It's like listening to their wording. If people are externalizing things, being super direct and calling them out, but not doing it like like a dickhead. Like not like trying to be rude, but being like, hey, like we're on the same team. Like I want to see you succeed, but like to see you succeed, I've helped hundreds of students. Like I know that this needs to change.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's one of the big things for us was being able to call guys out. Because
yeah,
the thing with calling people out is if you call them out with your own words, right? They think, well, who the fuck are you to tell me? But if you
yeah,
call them out with their own words, it's very much like a slap in the face, right? From yourself. It doesn't hurt as bad as some other guy slapping you.
yeah.
And that was a huge difference maker for you. And when
Hmm.
it comes to coming on board to work one to one with me, obviously you've worked with some other guys in the past before and you've done some training. What would you say was different about me and why did you come to me specifically for the one to one support? I mean, you're already making money, you're already doing well. So why did you come to me?
Um, I've always found one-to-ones to be, um, yeah, just much more beneficial for me. You get that personalized support, the transparency, but you specifically, it was your ability to like challenge people and get and reframe them, which is something that like I know that I struggled with.
Yeah,
And so it was like seeing something like your strength was like one of my biggest weaknesses, and so that's why I jumped on board. But it's also like I want to add it for people that want to get into management. Like being able to challenge people is like you have to be able to do it to be in management, and it's still like you just have to. And so it's super important, and it's a super important part of sales because if you're not willing to like get uncomfortable and challenge these people, um, yeah, it's your calls are going to be chopped. Like it's just not going to work.
for sure. And especially like you said in management, is you need to be a leader, right? And it's the exact same thing on your sales calls is when you're selling somebody, you're leading them into a decision. When you're managing, you're leading people every single day. So that's a big part of it as well. When it comes to obviously when we started working together, what would you say was one of the biggest differences from working with me to some of the other people you've worked in the past, or even some experiences with anybody in the past?
Yeah, so I worked with High Ticket Syndicate in the past, and they're like the reason that I got us with like Johnny Mao and
Mm,
um, some of the other coaches there, um, and they like yeah got me my first position in sales and incredible guys. But yeah, I think I was just looking for more like of that hands-on like one-to-one support. And can you? Sorry, I've blanked a little bit. Can you re-ask that question?
yeah, yeah. So the question was just, what is the difference from other coaches working with me
Okay.
specifically? Like, what have you
Yeah.
seen is different from working with me to working with them?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's I think it's going to come down to like the level of like directness and your ability to call people out. Like for me, that was kind of what I was looking for. So I think that's going to be a pretty like yeah, like almost like an echo chamber for an answer because that's what I came into this for. And so that's what I've seen the biggest change in.
Yeah,
Obviously
and
there's been changes in other things and like having different perspectives and things that like work for you that I have implemented that work better than the other things that I have learned.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, so it's just having a different perspective, but also like you're very, very good at what you do and having you directly speak into, um,
Yeah.
yeah, like that I suck at has been really, really beneficial.
And the other thing as well is that we bounced off each other because I'm very direct with you and you take that very well, right?
Yeah,
And that was one of the biggest things we noticed working together was like the things I told you, you implemented very quickly, which meant
yes,
although we had limited time with it only being 4 weeks, right? In those 4 weeks, you came on leaps and bounds. And I mean, look at where you are now compared to where you started. So yeah, it's a testament to us just gelling together well as well. For you
mm.
specifically, right? What would you say was the most valuable part of working together? What do you feel like is going to be the takeaway you take for the longest from working together?
Oh, I think I asked you a question, um, maybe like last, maybe even earlier this week, and I was like, if you had to like give yourself advice, and you said something along the lines of like just be more ruthless. Um, and obviously that's worked like incredible for you. It's gotten you to where you are. And I think that's something that I've like once again it comes down to like the because I've known this has been my weakness. And so it's gonna be like and you hang on, let me finish this thought. It's yeah, it's gonna be like implementing that into what I do. Um, because and this leads into like another thing that you said is like every decision and indecision is at the cost of something or someone. Because I brought up like I was having some issues with like, yeah, like internally around like letting people go and all this sort of stuff as a manager, just like feeling bad about it. And you said like everything comes at a cost, right? It's like the cost of letting that person go is like they're probably going to be upset, but they can find another offer. But if we don't let them go, it's at the expense of the setter, it's at the expense of the rest of the team, it's at the expense of the offer, it's at my expense. And so it's like being able to um, view these things from like a objective perspective and then handle it in that way rather than being like, oh man, I don't want to fire this guy and being a little bitch about it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's a big belief of where I come from is this idea that nobody's a bit more important than anything, right? If I'm at the
Yeah.
cost of everybody else in the company, I should probably go too, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to obviously working with me, what is one thing that you found that you couldn't have got on your own or maybe from other resources? Something like accountability, personalized support, or something like that. What do
Oh
you?
yeah, accountability for sure. There are times where I just say something and you just make me feel so stupid for saying it in the best way, in the best way. Like we had a pretty good, we've got a good relationship to where like I make fun of you a bit, you make fun of me, and so
Okay.
like when you call me out, it's very like direct, but it's like that's the way I need to hear things. Because like if you like because the way that that's the way I need to be with people. And if I'm like, if someone's like telling me how to do something, like, oh, but maybe you should do this, like it's not going to land. I'm not going to take it seriously. And so the accountability of like even rocking up early on when I was like showing up and we were reviewing my calls, and you were just like, yeah, dude, like this needs to change, this needs to change, this needs to change. And like literally the next calls, like later that day, it was changed. And so it's definitely the accountability. just because, yeah, you would just call me out exactly what you saw it, how you saw it, um, and force me to make the change. Because like I'd have to come back to you, a couple of days later and be like, hey, I did or I didn't make the change. And if I didn't make the change, you give me a hiding. So
Yeah, man. And it was obviously all because, like I said, we had limited time, right? And my aim is to get you as good as possible in as short a time as possible. And that's why I've got
yeah.
to push you as hard as I did. When it comes to working with me, right? Would you recommend working with me to other people that were in the same situation you were when you first came to me?
Uh, I think that's tough. I would say, oh man, I think everyone's going to get value from it because I can see the value for people who would be brand new and like getting it done right the first time. Because there's a few things that I unlearned or um, yeah, that I could do differently that worked better for me. So I think there's value in people just like jumping in straight away. But there's also so much value in people who already have a skill set, but want to get better at like a certain thing or a certain part that I think they can learn, yeah, so much from me. So it's tough for me to like put it into one group. But generally, I would say like people that do have the skill set already and are wanting to, yeah, I guess like fast track their progress, get to that next level. At least that's where I was at, and that's what it's definitely worked for me. So.
And well, let me ask you this, right? Is to follow on from that question, who do you think would be the best fit for the kind of one-to-one work that we did?
Yeah, well, then it's going to be people who are at like a high level but wanting more. Because I feel like I got the most value from like if I had done this, 2, 3 months ago, I don't think I would have got the same. I mean, I probably would have, but I also I don't know. Like it's tough because the best
Yeah, you
results,
wouldn't have the needle wouldn't have moved as much because you could have solved some of that stuff on your own, is what you're trying to say.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And
exactly right.
final question to you, Caleb. What would you say to somebody who's watching this, who's on the fence about investing and working with me, joining my community, or doing anything related to me? What would you say to them?
Oh man. Um, what would I say? I would say if like what is the worst that can happen? It's like genuinely, because you look at it and people are like they're afraid to invest. Worst case scenario is you end up right where you are right now. And the
Yeah.
best case scenario is like 6, 12 months time, you have the life that you have dreamed about like having for the last 6, 12 months. But people choose to stay comfortable and sales isn't comfortable. Like I will be the first person to tell you that. If you are getting into something to like, yeah, I just want to make a quick, 10, 20, 30 grand a month, like maybe this isn't the right thing for you. But if you actually are serious about getting to where you want to get to and, providing that sort of life for yourself and the people you care about, you feel like you actually deserve that, then it's going to require you to bet on yourself um, and if you jump in, don't give these guys objections. Just jump in. It's and I say that genuinely. Like it sounds like a joke, but every time I've got into a call, you kind of breed the prospect that you are yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you can't get over like a think about it objection, or you can't prove to yourself that you actually believe you're going to get there, it's going to be really hard for you to close and sell other people. If you yourself have a limiting belief that I need to think about it or I take time to think on these things, it's like if you are wanting to jump in, you should be able to bet on yourself because then prospects are going to have an easier time doing that with you.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think one of the biggest things people neglect is they expect their prospects to join, close, whatever, but they got on a closing call and they're, oh, let me think about it. Oh, it's a big decision. If you are
Yeah.
like that, you're gonna give off those vibes to your prospects and your prospects gonna run with it. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, thank you so much for jumping on. I mean, this was awesome and yeah, I appreciate it, brother.
No worries. It's been awesome working with you.